of our companies are allowed to go into other countries. And I say that friend and foe. And in many cases, the friend is worse than the foe in terms of trade.
U.S. President Donald Trump's bombshell tariffs on all trading partners have rattled global markets. While announcing the tariffs, Trump called it Liberation Day for America. But many economists see the global tariff move as disastrous for the U.S. economy and question the wisdom behind it. Trump fixed a baseline 10% tariff on all nations, along with custom-tailored tariffs for countries he accused of taking advantage of the U.S. market. Nations with significant trade surpluses with the U.S. have been hit the hardest. Lesotho, Cambodia, and Laos are among the countries who have been levied almost 50% tariffs, whereas countries who are facing only baseline tariff include United Kingdom, Australia, and Brazil. The baseline tariffs will come into effect on 5th of April from midnight, while steeper tariffs on those the White House deemed worst offenders will take effect on 9th of April. Trump's steeper tariffs have also targeted some of America's biggest trading partners. The European Union is facing 20% tariffs, while China's total tariff stands at 54%. This includes the previous levy of 20% that Trump announced on Beijing for its alleged role in the illegal fentanyl supply chain in the U.S. On India, Trump said that he was being lenient by charging 26% import duty.
India, very, very tough, very, very tough. The Prime Minister just left. He's a great friend of mine, but I said, you're a friend of mine, but you're not treating us right. They charge us 52%. You have to understand, we charge them almost nothing.
On South Korea, Trump said that he was levying 25% tariffs despite a slew of investments Korean industries have made in recent months. Tariffs on Korea are higher than those on Japan and European nations that have huge trade deficits with the U.S. Japan, on the other hand, has been subjected to 24% tariffs. Japan's Trade Minister Yoshimoto called Trump's tariffs unfortunate and extremely regrettable. Muto said they would push for exemption from the tariffs. Nomura Research Institute has estimated that the U.S. tariffs will slow the country's economic growth by 0.59% annually. Trump has exempted Canada and Mexico from imposing new tariffs, although previous duties remain in place. He had earlier imposed hefty duties on both nations for not doing enough to curb migration and fentanyl trafficking. Goods from Mexico and Canada that comply with the USMCA trade agreement will largely remain exempt from tariffs, except for auto exports, steel, and aluminum. The world markets reacted sharply to Trump's Liberation Day tariffs. Futures on the S&P 500 slumped over 3%. Asian markets fell sharply, with benchmark indexes dropping more than 3% in Japan and nearly 2% in Hong Kong and South Korea. World leaders have opposed the move, saying that they will take resolute countermeasures against the U.S.
I know that many of you feel let down by our oldest ally. Yes, we must brace for the impact that this will inevitably have. Europe has everything it needs to make it through the storm. We are in this together. We have always been ready to negotiate with the United States to remove the remaining barriers to transatlantic trade. At the same time, we are prepared to respond. We are already finalizing the first package of countermeasures in response to tariffs on steel, and we're now preparing for further countermeasures to protect our interests and our businesses if negotiations fail.
美国单方面加征关税，违反世贸组织规则，损害的是各国人民的共同利益，也无助于解决美方自身的问题。大家看得很清楚，越来越多的国家反对美国加征关税等单边霸凌行径。
Experts believe that tariffs on imported goods might push U.S. towards recession and adversely affect the developing countries whose fortunes are closely tied to the world's largest economy.